Welcome back to day 6 of Dephemerember 2023. This is Barbara, and this series is about making fun ephemera in December and getting out of your comfort zone. As you know, I'm co-hosting this series with my dear friend Luise and I. Be sure to catch all our episodes 4 times a week until the end of December, as we'll be sharing loads of inspiration, surprises, freebies, and a giveaway randomly sprinkled into our videos. And if you've missed any of our previous Dephemerember videos and you're wondering what the heck is going on, you can easily find them in the link below this video to catch up. So today's prompt is Kintsugi houses. And you might be just as confused as Effie is about this one. So Kintsugi is the Japanese art of repairing broken jewelry by mending the areas of breakage with a lacquer mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. As a philosophy, it treats breakage and repair as part of the history of an object rather than something to disguise. I wanted to transfer this technique to paper, and so I made this little journal that I'm showing Effie a while back. I added some cards showcasing this technique using gold, and I'll give you a closer look in a moment as well. Then I'm taking out my little handmade notepad and start writing down some ideas on how to construct the houses. So I've written down some notes on what I want to do today. Again, I will come to a certain stage and then I'm just going to have to wing it. That's okay. I have a plan. Just a reminder, this cute folder here is a freebie. You can find it in the link below this video, as well as, of course, the prompt list. So let me also show you this little journal that I made a while ago. It's, oh, where did this come from? I lost this somewhere. Anyway, this was a design team project for the Digital Collage Club. I will link the video of the making of this for you below. So this one was all about Kintsugi. And my idea was to mimic the Japanese Kintsugi that is usually used for pottery with paper. So you see here, all of these folds are painted in gold to give the same visual effect as the real Japanese Kintsugi. I just love the philosophy of Kintsugi. Then that folds out. We have a pocket here. We have another Kintsugi card here. This flips out. There's another one here. Then we have some journal pages here. We have another flip out here. And oh, I think this is where this fell out. There's an envelope here. There's another tuck spot here with another Kintsugi image. And another little journal here. This was a lot of fun to create. And then I'll just wrap this around and tie it. So my idea for the houses is to make them out of 2 envelopes. So I'm going to make 2 houses out of 2 envelopes. You could also use junk mail envelopes. All of the junk mail envelopes that I have had windows, which you could also use. But for this project, I think this will be easier when they don't have windows. And my idea is to attach them like this to make the holes here. It would also be fun to attach them so that they overlap like that. And they will remain like individual pages. And if you don't have a journal with flexible binding like a ring binder, you could attach these as flip outs. Meaning you would place it near the spine of your journal and then you would just adhere a strip of either washi tape or a paper scrap or fabric, and then they can just flip out, just like if it was in a ring binder. So first I need to know how wide this can be. Obviously I don't want these poking out of my journal, so they'll be in about like this, and then I'll fold them till about here. I want these to be the same. And then I also want to trim off the top here on both of them. Could have done that before I folded them. I'll use my paper trimmer, but you can just use scissors. So I just want to cut off a tiny sliver so that I have an opening. Then I'm also going to seal the envelope. You could have also done that before you cut and fold it. It doesn't matter, I don't think. Also, I think you can do this with any sized envelope. It doesn't have to be these long ones. They don't even have to be the same size. Could be fun to use different sizes as well. And then I want to cut this part off here, but just from the inside layer up until the crease. So I'll just cut along this crease. Actually, I'll cut a little further down, maybe 1 centimeter. Do the same thing on this side. And then I'll cut this off right where the crease is. And then we can fold this down to get a little more stability. And I'll do the same thing for the second envelope. Then I'll glue this fold down. So this top part is going to become my roof. And next I want to make some papers to decorate the front and the back sides. I'm going to be working with my jelly plate again, but if you don't have one, just take any paper. I have this packaging paper, 2 different kinds, and I have again the placemat from the pizzeria. And the reason why I'm not using these here, which I already made in another video, is because they are, I think, too small, but mostly because I don't like the colors for this project. And I always enjoy the opportunity to work with a jelly plate. Yeah, so if you don't have one, paint your papers, stamp on them, stencil on them, just slap some paint on various layers. There's so much you can do to decorate papers. Don't take any cardstock because we will need to wrinkle the paper later. And I splurged and got myself a big jelly plate. I have had my eye on this for a long time and I finally got it. If you don't need a jelly plate this big, if you have a smaller one, that's totally fine. You can then just piece your pieces together. But I am very excited to try this new one. And I'm not going to use my heat tool because, as I learned from the last time, that is not good. Your paper will stick to your jelly plate. And I also got myself a big brayer, so that should make it easier. I'll start off with this one, Skylight Blue acrylic paint by Amsterdam. This brand works really well with the jelly plate because the colors are opaque. Now, I don't know yet how much I will need for this big jelly plate. And remember, the color you put on first is going to be the color that's going to be on top of your print. So I don't just want a solid color. I'm going to use this stencil. It's by Diane Reevely and Dilutions, and the name is Coins Large with the number DYS78012. So I'm going to place that like that. Editing Barbara here. Apparently I lost some footage here. I don't know how that happened. The part that's missing here is after I put the stencil down, I put a piece of packaging paper on top and I rubbed over it so that I would get the paint off wherever there was no stencil. And then taking the stencil off, we come to this next step. Sorry about that. So what you can apparently use if you're impatient like me is a regular hair dryer that has a cool setting. So this is dry to the touch, so I'll add another color. This is yellow ochre. So I'll take this print as it is. Oh, I have a little bit there. Let's take that off as well. So the thinner paper will wrinkle easily. It's perfect for us since we're doing Kintsugi. Oh, this is so cool. Obviously, I love this color combination. And it pulls off beautifully. Look at that. And I love these. You see here, I have some paint left over because of the folds of the paper. I'm just going to leave those on because I think they will look cool. This time I'll do it the other way around. I'll start off with the yellow ochre. Then I'll add this stencil. I'll show you in a moment what it's called. Just want to be sure I don't lose the time that it's still wet. Again, I'll put some packaging paper over. So this one is called Asemic Writing and it's by PM Artist Studio. I will link their website below. They have such fun stencils and their stencils are made out of synthetic Yupo. Among other things, that means that they will never buckle no matter how much paint or anything you put on top. So let's take this off. This needs to dry. And then I'll add my light blue on top. So it's exactly the reverse thing of what we just did. And then I'll pull it off. Again, I'm going to have these wrinkles, that's fine. Somehow it's just very, very satisfying. I love the combination of the writing. You can hardly tell that it's actually writing. In combination with these folds here, it just looks wonderfully grungy to me. And again, we have these cool paint marks here, and this time, of course, we have them in the yellow ochre. Next, I'm again going to start with my light yellow. I'm using this stencil this time. Again, I'll show you in a moment. I'm keeping it very simple this time. Sometimes simple gives you the best results. Also, we still have a lot to do. I could spend all day just pulling jelly plate prints, but we have more to do. I could even just use this. How cute is this? So we take this off. Oh, it's so nice. So this is again PM Artist Studio Aqueous Effervescence. It's the large pattern. And this time I'm going to use titanium white to pull it off. Okay, this is too light for this. This is not what I had in mind. Okay, that's a fail, but we could always print something else on top of that maybe. Let's try this olive green. This is also very opaque. It's by Schminke. Oops. I think that was too much. Last time I used this paint, it was fine, but now this is very strange. Okay, so after getting rid of a lot of this, now it's better. I'm using my circle stamp again. Circle stamp. It's a coin stencil, Barbara. Actually, we can just rub it on this failed print. That's better. And finally, I'll use some yellow ochre again to pick this one up. And then we're done. Look at this amazing wrinkly pattern. So I guess the thinner your paper, the more likely you are to get wrinkles like this. This already would be cool kintsugi if you just go over it lightly, either with your finger or with a dry brush with another color like gold or silver or a darker color even. Very cute. So in no time I have beautiful papers to choose from. So let's start decorating. I think I'll start with the back side first. You could do one pattern on the whole envelope. You could add different patterns. I'm just going to use one pattern for the back for this one. So I'll cut a piece that's a little bit bigger than my envelope because through squishing it together, we're going to need more than the actual size of the envelope. For the second one, I will use this pattern. To adhere this, I'm going to use matte gel, but you can also use glue stick. You could also brush on a PVA glue, for example. So I'll use my brush and I'll just add the gel to the whole surface. And then I'll lay my paper over it. And I'm not pressing down firmly yet. While pressing it down, I'm going to push it together to create these folds. You see? That's how to get kintsugi folds. Be gentle enough so that you don't tear it, but even if you tear it, it doesn't matter. Embrace the imperfection. So I have this now with all of these beautiful wrinkles, which we will accentuate. First, we're going to cut around our envelope. And then I'll just go around it one more time and check that all of my edges are adhered because some of them might come up like here. Don't want that. And I'll do the same thing, of course, with the other envelope. I think it's best to start from the middle because I think once you've kind of pushed it down from the outside, it's going to be very hard to still have that chance to do it for the middle. And of course, you decide how wrinkly you want it. Always when I'm working on these prompts, I'm thinking like, what is Luise doing? I'm sure she's doing something completely different. You know, if you have 100 people and they each do the same prompt, you're going to have 100 different versions. And that is just so much fun. But I would also be surprised if, like in the past 2 years, we wouldn't have that one prompt where we're actually doing something super similar. Maybe that has happened already. I don't know at this point. Sure, you get those corners, especially those tend to come off. Some of you have asked me in the past to offer prints of my jelly plate prints, but I can only do that if I don't use stencils or stamps from a company, because obviously those are all copyrighted. I can do it if I use things like placemats or stamps that I've made myself. So then we still need to do the back side. So I'm just going to do this part here right now. And of course these are going to come down. So whatever design I choose needs to somehow work with this one. For this one, I'll use this. And for this one, I'll use this one. So again, I'll tear pieces that are a little bigger than this piece here. And this time I'll add a piece of paper here because I don't want to get any glue or gel on this back side here. This is the back of a sticker sheet. You could also use like freezer paper, parchment paper, baking paper, anything you have like that, which is non-stick. So I'll do the same thing. And I can take this out and add my paper. Again, I'm pushing first from the middle. Maybe you don't like this at all, then you just adhere your papers flat. It's all good. It's your journal. You need to be happy with what you're doing. I'm just showing you options. You'll get a feeling for how much you have to push depending on what kind of folds you want. Just be gentle. I forgot to take this off. That's okay. And once more, we're going to cut around the edges. And for the top here, it's probably easiest if we just fold this back and then we can cut off the excess easily. And again, we'll check all our edges because some of these need some more gluing. So we have these look very cute. And now we just have to cover these two parts. So I've cut two pieces which are the same width as my flap and a little bit longer. And I think the easiest way to put these in is just to slide them in and then add your glue here. And this one I'm just going to glue in as it is. And I'm using the same inside for both houses. After we trim off any excess, we are of course again checking that everything is adhered well. Effie, you're being very quiet today. Are you okay? Oh, he's sleepy. It is very early in the morning. Okay, sweetie. Okay, so next I'm going to distress all my edges with walnut stain. So now for the actual Kintsugi part. Maybe I'll do the backs first. Originally they used either gold, silver or platinum. You could do any color you want really. I'm going to use this Inca Gold by Viva, which is a fast drying metal gloss paint. You could use a watercolor, you could use any acrylic paint, you could use a wax, you could use a metallic marker and gently go over the folds. I think I'm going to apply this with my finger because I have the most feeling for that. So I don't want this to be runny and thin. It needs to be somewhat thick so that it doesn't drip everywhere or smear everywhere. So I'll just take a little bit with my finger. And then I will very gently brush over my folds with a very light touch. I really just want to get the raised parts and not the rest of the paper. I want this to be quite subtle, but if you want yours to be more pronounced, then you just use more accent with the color you're choosing. Black could look really cool, actually. Very grungy then. This gives it more of a elegant feeling. A very dry stippling brush would probably also work. So after drying, I will do the same thing on the other side. So with this method, we are highlighting the imperfections, which is beautiful. And we're also honoring the past. I mean, these papers obviously were not torn, so we're not mending them, but we're symbolizing something that we do in junk journaling anyway. We use papers and packaging, all kinds of things that other people would throw away. And this kind of symbolizes highlighting those products and the beauty of those products and how they can be made into something beautiful, even though actually they are garbage. I think it looks better in person than on camera. Effie, do you think these houses should have a door? You do? Okay. Let's check our scraps. Maybe there's something we can use here. These are neutral. They would work. Yeah, I could see that working. Is there anything else? Part of this would be beautiful, but I don't want to cut this up. This is of course from Luise. No, I can't do that. What about this one? I so love this one. I wonder if I make this into two. Both parts are super cool. I think they would make very cool grungy doors. Yeah, last time I didn't have the heart to cut this up, but this time I can use a bigger piece. Do I want a door that is round on top, or do I want a square door? I think I'll do a square door. So I'll cut this one here. It's so difficult to cut up beautiful scraps. And then we'll trim it down a little bit. Oh, that is a gorgeous door, and it's a bit wonky, which is just perfect. Oh, I love it. Thank you, Luise. And then this one will also trim down a bit. Or maybe this way. Effie, which way do you like better? Or maybe this way? No, I think the dark part should go on the bottom. That kind of grounds it. Okay, so I think Effie wants it this way. Let's ink up those edges. And actually, I'm also going to sew around the doors. Okay. Is this how we had it, Effie? Or did we have it the other way around? I don't remember now. But you don't either. Well, that's no help. Well, just leave it like this. I'm happy with this. And how about we add some doorknobs? And for that, I'm going to use a brad. Let's just see what size we can do. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. So I have this one. And the other one can get this one. So let's punch a hole. So I'll go ahead and glue the doors down. If you wanted to be really fancy, you could of course hinge the doors and put something underneath. But for me, these are just going to be decoration. Something I don't like is that these are standing up. That always bugs me in a junk journal. So I have found these two fairly large buttons, which will hopefully help to weigh these down. So I think we'll go for contrast. We'll put the yellow one here. Oh yeah, you see how that helps already? And we'll put this one over here. And these are super special because they are from Luise. And I want to add some scraps underneath. So I have some here. Maybe I'll add some lace as well. Not sure yet. These are, yeah, a mixture of grungy fabrics. Some of them are Tim Holtz. Some of them are Marsha Dursey. Some of them are Seth Apter. I really love this one here. We can have that peeking out from our roof. And then what do we take for here? Oh, this one I think would be perfect. It needs more, it's too rectangular, you know what I mean? So maybe something like this will just kind of loosen that whole thing up a little bit. Then I have another nice scrap here. Let's see if we want to add a little bit of lace. These scrappy pieces, which are just perfect. How about this one? Just a part of it. Yep, I love it. It just needs some more contrast with some black thread. Where did that go? Effie, did you hide my black thread? Are you sure? Ah, here it is. Okay, fine. It wasn't you. Time to glue everything down. I think I'll do this top down actually. That way I don't have to remember what was where. I moved this over a little because I didn't want that right over the door. So I would call these finished from the front. I think they're super cute. We have our backs. I'm also very happy with these. So now let's see how to add them to our journal. And by the way, I love how these are now weighted down by the collage and the buttons. This is perfect. Excuse me, Effie. Better from this side, yep. So let's go to the back here. Little Effie is giggling because he sees this one again from yesterday. It is adorable. Little Effie in his Dracula costume. So as we said, these will go in here like that. I don't think I want them overlapping. No, I want them side by side. So I'll take out my template from the front. So we made this in a previous video. So I just need to mark where I want my holes. Like this, and I'll just mark them on the back side. And I'll do the same thing here. Maybe it makes more sense to punch these first because then I will know the exact position. Okay, let's put this in, and now I can determine better where this one needs to go. So I'll line the holes up with the rings, and then I'll put this here. And then I try not to move it. Do we want to add hole reinforcements? No, actually I don't. I would if I wouldn't have the door here, but I don't want to alter the design of the door. Then I want to add some either journaling cards or tags for the inside. I'm going to use this paper here. It's a mixed media paper, 250 GSM or 115 pounds. It's by Claire Fontaine. So I'll take 2 of these. I bought these locally at my art store. So let's figure out the size until here and until here so that it fits in easily. So I'll cut 2 of those. Let's make them into tag shapes. Always love those. So we just cut off the top corners. I'll make some collages on these using some of these scraps that we have left over from the houses. I don't want to think too much. I want to make them similar but not the same. And I'm going to challenge myself by gluing the pieces down without having the complete collage in mind yet. Huge challenge for a perfectionist like me. But this way, I think I'll get something more unexpected and something more intuitive. I'm using my matte gel again for this because it's easiest. For me, this is the quickest method. Obviously, you use whatever glue you like. And then I'll add these 2 die cuts on top. Once they have dried, they're going to get some black splatters. This is very thinned down acrylic paint. Effie, I think you need to move unless you want to get some splatters. I also added gold splatters, of course. And then I'm going to stamp Kintsugi on the edge of a book page. And houses. After inking those up, those are going to go on top of my tags. So these are kind of like twin tags. They need to be together. I already have in mind that I want to have a lot of empty journaling space because I want to add your comments like I did with my journal last year. So it's time to add them. What do you say, Effie? Are you happy? Yeah, I told you you were not going to be on every single page or ephemera. We'll see if we'll make another one with you. I don't know yet, Effie. I know you're the star of Dephemerember. Yes, I realize. Oh dear. So it's time to cross off another prompt. December 12th, Kintsugi houses. Successfully completed. What, Effie? Okay, the next one is magical creature. Of course, you're the only magical creature in this world. We'll see, Effie, we'll see. No promises. I hope our videos provide a little more clarity about this prompt. I know there was a bit of confusion about this one. So have fun making your own Kintsugi voices, Kintsugi houses. We're looking forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. And let's go check out Luise's video in case you haven't seen that yet. Love you guys. Mwah! Mwah!